Assalamu alaikum. How are you students? I welcome all of you in the another virtual class of physics. In my today's class, I am going to discuss about momentum, conservation law of momentum and energy, and after that I will solve a creative question. And this all things are included in your chapter 3, which is force. So let's start our today's class. Students, our first topic of discussion is momentum. Students, in your previous class, you have already learned about the mass and velocity. And if we multiply mass and velocity, then we will get a new quantity which is known as momentum. Yes, momentum means the product of mass and velocity. So, we can write that momentum is denoted by P. So, we can write that P is equal to mass into velocity. And you know that mass is denoted by m and velocity is denoted by v. So we can write that momentum P is equal to mv. Now from the equation you can see that P is equal to mv. That means if two objects have same mass but different velocity, then their momentum will be different. In the similar way, if two objects have same velocity but the mass is different, then the momentum of these two objects will be also different. Actually, momentum is the measurement of how difficult to stop a moving object. Now, the unit of momentum. As you can see that momentum means the product of mass and velocity. So easily we can calculate the unit of momentum, that is unit. You know that the unit of mass is kg and unit of velocity is meter per second. So we can say that unit of momentum is kg meter per second. Now the dimension of momentum. Dimension of momentum. You know that dimension of mass is m and dimension of velocity is L t inverse 1. So the dimension of momentum will be ml t inverse 1. Dear students, now we are going to learn about the conservation of momentum. Here you can see that I draw a diagram. Here you can see there's two objects, object A and object B. Suppose the mass of object A is m1 and when it starts to move, the initial velocity of object A is u1. In the similar way, the mass of object B is m2 and the initial velocity is u2. Now, after some time, these two objects will collide with each other, and when they collide with each other, then suppose object A applied a force on object B and the direction of the applied force will be this, and this force will consider as action force. So we can write that action force, this is F1. Now whenever object A will apply a force on object B, in the same time the object B will also apply a force on object A, which will be known as the reaction force, and the direction of reaction force will be this. So suppose the reaction force is F2. Now after collision, these two objects starts to move with new velocity, and the after collision the velocity of object A is v1 and the velocity of object B is v2. Now if the total momentum before collision and after collision remains same, then we can say that the momentum is conserved, and this is the conservation of momentum. So, how we can describe the conservation law of momentum? Conservation law of momentum is, if there is no force except action and reaction force act between two objects during a collision, then the total momentum before collision and after collision will remain same, and this is the conservation law of momentum. Students, now I am going to derive the conservation law of momentum. You know that from Newton's third law that if action force will be same and opposite of reaction force. So we can write that F1 is equal to minus F2. From Newton's second law, you have already learned that F is equal to ma. So here for F1 we can write that m1 a1, and for F2 we can write it's m2 a2. Now here m means mass and a is acceleration, and from the definition of acceleration you already learned that a is equal to v minus u divided by t. Now I am going to put this equation here. So we can write that m1 a1 means v1 minus u1 by t is equal to minus m2 a2 means v2 minus u2 divided by t. Students, you can see that I didn't write that T1 or T2 because action and reaction force will act in the same time. So the time will be same. That's why I didn't write that for A object time is T1 or for B object time is T2, as action and reaction force act at the same time. So now we can write that m1 v1 minus m1 u1 is equal to minus m2 v2. Now minus means plus, that is plus m2 u2. Now if we rearrange this equation, then we will get m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. So dear students, from this equation you can see that total momentum before collision and the total momentum after collision is same. So we can say that in this collision the momentum is conserved, and this formula is the formula for conservation of momentum. Students, this is the derivation of conservation of momentum. Now we are going to derive the conservation of energy. Dear students, now conservation of energy. Conservation of energy means if the total kinetic energy before collision and total kinetic energy after collision remains same, then we can say that the energy is conserved, and this is known as the conservation of energy. Students, in the diagram you can see that the two objects A and B were moving with a velocity u1 and u2, and the mass of object A is m1 and mass of object B is m2. Now after some time they collide with each other, and after collision they move with a velocity. The object A is moved with velocity v1 and the object B starts to move with velocity v2. So if the total kinetic energy before collision is total kinetic energy before collision. So, you can see that kinetic energy, you know that the formula of kinetic energy is Ek is equal to half m v square. So, as here we are considering the total kinetic energy before collision, so we can write that half for object A m1 u1 square plus half for object B, the total kinetic energy will be m2 u2 square. Here we are taking u1 and u2 as the velocity, because before collision the velocity of object A and B is u1 and u2. Now, total kinetic energy after collision will be, for object A we can write half m1 v1 square, as the after collision the velocity of object A become v1 and after collision the velocity of object B become v2. So, we can write that for object B m2 v2 square. So, according to the conservation of energy, we can write that if we consider the total kinetic energy before collision is Ek1 and the total kinetic energy of after collision is Ek2, so we can write that Ek1 is equal to Ek2, and this is known as the conservation of energy. Friends, if you got that the total kinetic energy before collision and after collision is same, then that type of collision is known as the elastic collision. This type of collision is known as elastic collision. But if you got that Ek1 is not equal to Ek2, in that case this collision will consider as the inelastic collision. During solving your mathematical problem, you will got this type of question, that whether the collision is elastic or inelastic. So, in that case you have to prove that if you got that Ek1 is equal to Ek2, then that collision will be elastic, and if you got that the value of Ek1 is not equal to Ek2, then that collision is inelastic. Dear students, now I am going to solve a creative question. The question is, two objects P and Q. Here you can see the mass of object P is 6 kg and the velocity is 10 meter per second, and the mass of object Q is 4 kg and the velocity is 8 meter per second. Now, after some time these two objects P and Q collide with each other, and after collision the velocity of object P become 8 meter per second. So, in this step they say that two objects P and Q committed collision and after collision continued to move in the straight way. Now, question C is, find the velocity of object Q after collision. So, we have to calculate the velocity of Q, that means the value of v2. So, here the given informations for question C are, you can see that mass of object P, if we consider the mass of object P as m1, then the value of m1 is given here 6 kg. This is 6 kg. Now mass of object Q, so mass of object Q is given here 4 kg. So we can write that the value of m2 is 4 kg. Now initial velocity of object P, that means the velocity before collision, and the velocity before collision for object P is given here 10 meter per second. So we can write that the value of u1 is 10 meter per second. Now initial velocity of the object Q. So from the diagram you can see that the initial velocity of object Q is given 8 meter per second. So we can write that the value of u2 is 8 meter per second. Now final velocity of object P. Final velocity means the velocity after collision, and here you can see that the velocity after collision for object P is given 8 meter per second. So we can write that the value of v1 is 8 meter per second. Now we have to calculate the final velocity of object Q. That means the value of v2 is equal to what? So students, from the conservation law of momentum, we know that m1 u1 plus m2 u2 is equal to m1 v1 plus m2 v2. So as we have to calculate the value of v2, so I am going to rearrange this equation. So after rearranging, we will get m2 v2 is equal to m1 u1 plus m2 u2 minus m1 v1, so that we can write that v2 is equal to m1 u1 plus m2 u2 minus m1 v1 divided by m2. Now put all the informations which we have already know. So the value of m1 is 6 into value of u1 is 10 plus value of m2 is 4, u2 is 8 minus m1 is 6 and v1 is 8, and the value of m2 is 4 kg. Now after calculating it, you will get the value of v2 is 11 meter per second. So this is the answer of question number C. The final velocity of object Q after collision is 11 meter per second. Question D. The question is whether the collision mentioned in the stem does follow the law of conservation of momentum or not. Explain mathematically. That means we have to prove that if the total momentum before collision and after collision is same or not. If we got the value of total momentum before collision and total momentum after collision is same, then we can say that this collision is following the conservation law of momentum. So students, for question D, the given informations are, here we have already learned that the value of m1 is 6 kg, m2 is 4 kg, and the initial velocity of object P, which is given in the stem, and the value of u1 is 10 meter per second, the value of u2 is 8 meter per second, and the final velocity of object P is given here 8 meter per second, and the final velocity of object Q, that is the value of V2. We have already calculated the value of V2 in question C, and from that we get the value is 11 meter per second. From C we got this information. Now, before collision, we can write before collision total momentum. So, before collision total momentum, if we denote it by P1, then we write that P1 is equal to M1 U1 plus M2 U2. So, the value of M1 is given here 6 and the value of U1 is 10 plus the value of M2 is 4 and the value of U2 is 8. So, after calculating it, you will get the value is 92 kg meter per second. This is the value of P1. Now, after collision, total momentum. If we denote the total momentum after collision is P2, then we write that P2 is equal to M1 V1 plus M2 V2. Now, I am going to put all the informations from the given. So, the value of M1 is 6 and the value of V1 is 8 plus the value of M2 4 and the value of V2 is 11. Now, after calculating it, you will get the same value, that is 92 kg meter per second. So, students, you can see that the total momentum before collision and the total momentum after collision is same. That's why we can say that P1 is equal to P2. As P1 is equal to P2, that is the total momentum before collision and total momentum after collision is same. That's we can say that this collision is following the conservation law of momentum, and this is the answer of question D. So that's all for today. Thank you for being with me. Stay home, stay safe.